the Chase Thomas Podcast, for people who have nothing but time to kill.
Talented it's been in the 4 years that Josh Heupel's been here, especially the safety spot. Safety and star, we're looking at a weak group. And I don't know, I'm not sounding the alarm bells, but there is a lot, like the transfer guys, it's funny because it's like, oh, like we got some bodies. All right, Danico was it wasn't like Danico was a bad player. It wasn't like Gabe Judy-Lawley was not a kind of a big hit. Like Gabe Judy-Lawley was maybe your most consistent corner for the full season this past year and really came into his own those last few weeks. Ricky Gibson, I like a lot. I'm excited to see what he looks like. McCoy, though, starts true freshman. Very different going from Oregon State to Tennessee. We'll see how he translates. Look, we'll see. However, the safety spot, McCullough was okay. Like, McCullough had a solid season. Wesley Walker was fantastic. You lose both of those guys. I like Slaughter. I know you like Slaughter a lot. We'll see. True sophomore, if he's a starter. The MTSU kid, this is a big jump up. It was not an immediate grab for Tennessee. If he's starting, I think that's an issue. You saw a lot of Brooks down the stretch here. I mean, Jordan Thomas struggles to stay healthy. I am very worried with Tamari McDonald also being gone here. I don't know if Tennessee fans are ready that the back end for this Tennessee secondary might be the worst we've seen in 4 years. Is that too alarmist for you, or do you think they are going to have real talent and depth problems in that back end for next year?
I mean, I think you've got some depth concerns, and you've got to have some young guys who come to the forefront. I think from a speed standpoint and athleticism standpoint, I think they got a chance to be more athletic if they can stay healthy. That secondary took a turn when Kamal Haddon went out and didn't return. I mean, he was playing the best of anybody. It's hard to judge Slaughter this past year because, I mean, the turf toe thing with his foot was a real problem that he trudged through. And I'm still not convinced corner was his best position. I think he could have been a more effective guy at safety than ultimately at corner. So we'll see. You're just young. I mean, we're talking about guys who, Christian Conyer, I think, has got talent. I think Jordan Matthews has got talent. I think you have some guys with talent. I think McCoy's talented, but you're talking about those young guys who only played outside. I mean, you take Ricky Gibson out of it, the rest of that class, I think played 10 or 12 snaps total on defense. So you're green. I don't know that it's so much that they lack talent. They're just lacking experience. And back there, when you lack experience, a bust can be a touchdown. Whereas, a bust up front means maybe an 8-yard gain on the ground, right? But a bust on the back end there can absolutely mean a touchdown. That's why that front four is going to have to be able to get home. The pass rush is going to have to be good to help those young guys out. I'm not convinced they're done in the portal. I think they might go get another DB in the portal if the right one's there available to them.
Corner or safety, do you think?
I think it would be more of a safety body. Star, somebody who can play a little bit more inside to create some depth there. We'll see what a guy like Christian Harrison looks like. I think he's going to work at safety. I think that's a better fit for him than corner, but what does that look like? Can he play? Can he not play? Some talent there, really, really green, and probably, you don't have as much depth, but you didn't play depth in spots this past year. Now you had to, when McDonald got hurt. Yeah. But McCullough played 94% of the snaps, 97% of the snaps this year. You didn't rotate back there very well. So some guys are going to have to grow up in a hurry. And they need the MTSU guy to be able to play. They really do. I mean, he's
and that's kind of scary. That's what I'm saying. I'm just kind of scared in that back end. You need Slaughter to be good, and you need that kid to play well.
Welcome to college football. I think tight end's scary, right? We're talking about Holden States coming in, learning this offense, and look, McCollum Castle's had a nice year, but he had some early season struggles trying to figure out what to do. And I can tell you right now, the tight end position in this offense is of extreme importance in this offense. That Stays and Ethan Davis, they got to have great springs, and that group's got to stay healthy. Tennessee was fortunate; they played 2 tight ends this past year, and they were healthy all the way through. That's not the easiest position to stay healthy at. So I think the thing about this team next year, lots of questions.
Mm.
I don't know that you can say that they're lacking talent, because I do think they're going to have talent in a lot of places. It's just unproven talent,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of teams going to be in that boat. Um, but some of your elite teams are not, right?
Mm.
I mean, Alabama's not going to have a ton of questions coming back for next year. Georgia's bringing their quarterback back. I know they're losing Bowers, but they're going to be good. They're
Yeah.
not going to take a big drop off by any means. So, we'll see. I mean, Oklahoma, you're talking about going to Norman, Oklahoma, and they're going to have 5 new offensive linemen and a new quarterback.
Do you think
And
Heupel will
quarterbacks,
be motivated to win that game?
Heupel,
Do you think he
yeah,
might be motivated to win in Norman?
he will be. That'll be a tense week. That'll be a stressful. That will be a high strung week that week for
Mm.
him, because he doesn't want to talk about going back there, but internally, yeah, that one matters.
Yeah.
There's no doubt that one matters for sure. But they've got questions. So I think in the world of the portal, a lot of teams have questions. That's why, again, I think it's important that you try to play young guys to develop them. I mean, look at where you feel like at linebacker. We've talked about these positions of concern, but you feel okay at linebacker because
I feel great at linebacker.
you like what Arian Carter is
Yeah.
going to be able to do, right? You like what T. Lander has shown you. You think Keaton Peely. We think Keaton Peely is going to be a good player. He's played like 3 series of college football at Tennessee, but you think he's going to be really good. So you think they're going to be okay at linebacker because they committed to playing some young guys there in a rotation from game 1 all the way through. I think that has to translate to some other positions for Tennessee, as again the CEO of this program, the head coach, grows moving forward. I think that's got to be paramount. In this day and age of the transfer portal, you better be seeing what you have, and you better be seeing what they are early in their careers, and not think that you're going to get them in year 3, because they may not be there, And so I think you got to play guys earlier and earlier than you have to, unless you're going to go the Kiffin route. You're going to try to bring in 10, 12 transfer kids a year, and that's going to be the core of your roster. I don't know if that's sustainable. Time will tell on that one.
My gut tells me, and I'm curious if this happens, I think Tennessee looks at this year as not a title. Like, you want to make the playoff if you can with Nico if he pops the way he can. I don't know if they go as much Ole Miss 2023 here going into the 2025 season, but I think my gut tells me that that's the circle. Like, we need to try and really contend for a title in 2025. Year 2 of Nico, certain guys will be sophomores that you need to be. My gut just tells me they're going to be heavy in the portal going into 2025 and making sure that depth and everything they need to do to make a serious title run is 2025.
Well, and I think the challenge with that is assuming your roster retention's good, and it has been for the most part. Assuming your roster retention is solid coming out of the 24 season, I think you're in the portal for big bodies, and I think big bodies aren't necessarily the easiest things to find in the portal. And if they are, they're not the cheapest ones to find in the portal either.
Yeah.
So that's why you need the Caleb Herrings to come on the outside, right? You need Jordan Ross to be a guy who can play early for you and be ready to go in year 2 for him, which would be 25. These offensive linemen that you've signed here need to take this year to get themselves ready, so that you're not in the portal saying I got to have 4 offensive linemen.
Sham and Menzie rotating at right tackle next year. You need those two playing together.
Well, you have to make a commitment to playing them.
Yeah.
Because you've got to know. And you've got to keep them engaged so that they don't come to you and do what Addison Nichols did.
Yeah.
And say, hey, you know what? And maybe Addison knew all those guys were coming back and he was going to set for a third year, and he had no desire to do that. But you didn't have him engaged enough where that was even a thought process for him. So that's something that you have to do. It's as much engagement for those guys as it is development.
Brent Hubbs, what can the good folks check out from you and the team over at Volquest.com this week? The War Room, is it up yet, or is it going up?
War Room is up. Yeah, we took care of that in the early minutes here on this podcast. I hope I wasn't too distracted. I hope you didn't.
You're talented. I didn't know. I was thinking about it. Whenever we do these on Thursday nights, I always think about it, if he's going to do it, how you do it.
I got that thing posted out there, and so we got the War Room up, and then obviously we're going to continue to track Any other portal news, good or bad for Tennessee, any other potential news that comes about. And then obviously we've got Christmas coming up. We'll do on Christmas Day, I'll do a look back at.
Go. Nicely done, nephew. The Chase Thomas podcast. Hell yeah.